So if you're new to Rekordbox and you've just started building your music library, there are some key things you need to put into place that ensure you don't lose your music, or if Rekordbox starts to play up and you want to move to a new computer, you're upgrading a computer, let's say, and you want to take your database to that new computer. Or you've had instances where you've turned up at a club to play your newly downloaded music, and then you find the player is saying there's no file there, or a file corrupted, or missing file. Or if you're using a controller and then you go to launch controller, you connect it all up and go and play your gig, and then it says that a file is missing. There's some things you need to put into place that doesn't happen to you, and also you know where to locate your files quickly if you need to make these changes. So if you're using a Mac, for instance, as I am today, when you download your music, you'll find, if you've gone to Beatport, Bandcamp or whatever, your music gets downloaded straight to downloads folder, which is fair enough. It's straightforward. So it'll all sit in downloads folder. I've left these in here. This is just for you to see, give you an idea of the process. But these generally would not be in this folder, but they arrive here first. Once you've got your downloads, I would suggest you do one or both of these things. One is you can create an actual music folder in your hard drive somewhere other than your downloads folder. So I'm not going to do it completely here because this system's set up the way I want it. So if you imagine that you've gone to your hard drive and you could create a new folder somewhere, call it music. What I've done here is I use an external hard drive for all my music, and the reason I'll come to explain why I do that. But here I've got I call it Music DB2, Database 2. This is I use because I've got a Database 1, which is my backup stuff as well. So DB2, and inside here, all my music sits. And I've named this main folder All My Tunes. Straightforward, easy for me to find later. So that's what I suggest you do. Two reasons is, one is your music is in one place. Two, your laptop will not start to slow down because you filled the laptop downloads folder with music, with massive files, and you'll get into a panic and you'll decide to delete the whole lot. But while you do that, you're actually deleting all your music from your Rekordbox database. Right, so that's the first thing I would do is create a folder for all your music. Whether you do it on your hard drive somewhere else than the download, or better thing to do would be to have an external hard drive, name it as your database for music, and inside that hard drive you would have all your files. I've called mine All My Tunes. All right, so that's one thing. Right, so if I zoom over to Rekordbox and literally come up here, you can see I've got them in performance mode. I've got a controller connected, so whether you have it in performance mode or export mode, it doesn't really matter. It still will be the same process. So generally what you guys are doing at the moment, you've just downloaded all your music to downloads folder, and then you've gone to import your tunes, and you've gone to import here, and you've either imported a folder or a playlist or a track, and you've clicked on that, and essentially you've navigated to your downloads folder where all this music is sitting, and you've imported it from there, which is what I used to do when I first started using Rekordbox, I don't know, a decade ago, whatever it was. Sadly, when you do it this way, the music comes into Rekordbox, and it believes that the music is in the downloads folder and it's always going to be there. And so the file path for that music will always say downloads. So you'll end up deleting something out of downloads folder, and it'll be linked to Rekordbox. And then when Rekordbox goes to look to play that tune, it says it's missing. Or even worse than that, you are looking at all these file names in here and all this sort of data in terms of the preview and so on. And then you've gone to you created a playlist, let's say, and you've right-clicked and you've exported that playlist, or you've gone to Sync Manager, exported that playlist over to a USB stick, believing it's gone across to that USB stick. You arrive at the club, you put your stick in, you find the music files, the names are there, but when you go to play the tune, it's not there. And that's what actually happens, because Rekordbox does not hunt all over your laptop looking for the music. It just remembers the reference point. So the way around that is, so you've created a folder somewhere on your machine, your laptop, desktop, where all your music is going to be stored, or you have a standalone portable hard drive with your music stored on that, nothing else, just your music stored on that. And then when you come to import the music, before you do that, in Rekordbox, come along to settings cog up here, and then go to the advanced settings. And if you scroll down, you'll see all these sorts of sort of file management, database management tips or tick boxes here. I've got here in iTunes framework software. So I'm using Rekordbox to manage my music library. Some people like to use iTunes. I use a bit of both, but because I like to send music to an iDevice sometimes, my playlist, I can listen to something on a Bluetooth speaker in the car or whatever, I don't know. You can do it that way. But I use Rekordbox really to handle the database management. But if you come down to here, you'll see auto relocate search folders. And I ticked specific folder there. And if you look here, you can see it's my database, music database DB2, all my tunes. That's where all my music's stored. So if it's going to look for music, because I put it all in that folder on that drive, Rekordbox will go to that point. And then down the bottom here, can you see it says database management, select a drive. Well, you would actually select your drive and that folder where the music is stored. That's why I've got an external hard drive with the music stored on it. I've literally just made sure that's the drive where the music is. Now, Rekordbox will always pull music from that place. It will always read music from that place. When I export to a USB stick, it's gathering the music from that spot where all the music is, and it will make sure it will go across to my USB thumb drive to play in the club. Now, if you are, I don't know many people who would do this, but if you are using your whole database as your performance USB drive on an external SSD portable drive, you can auto export your playlists and imported music straight to that drive. I've got it ticked here, but you can have it switched off. So every time I bring a new file into Rekordbox, it will automatically export it to my database drive. It's a bit belt and braces, but I would leave that as off. Okay, so excuse me. So now you know pretty much how to manage your database. I've tried to keep it simple. I'm sorry it rambles on a bit, but that is the thing you need to do, is just really think about having your music in a main drive or a main folder somewhere, which is not your downloads folder, and keep music in there. Whether you import it as individual folders like R&B folders and you just keep topping those up, or house folders and keep topping them up, or you can go in and quite deeper than that and have, let's say, garage house, tech house, something or other, 3-4 different folders, and you just put music into those. Then when you do that, you import from those locations into Rekordbox. And that's really the simplest way. I mean, I can go deeper than that, but this really is something I would set up as you start to build your library of music. And you shouldn't get into that situation where you've exported to USB stick, gone to the club, put your stick in, and then you see the files there, but there's no music, or it just says no music, nothing, no playlist, and there's obviously panic stations. Okay, so that's that side of it for the database management. Right. Good luck.